Well, here we're still in the competitive model, of course, and what we tend to do is we have this tendency to assume all firms are the same, but that's not the case in the real world. Um, if all firms are the same, and each firm's marginal cost curve is upward sloping like so, the industry supply curve is the aggregation across quantity of all the firm marginal cost curves, which is the industry marginal cost curve. Remember the last screencast, the logic of the competitive firm, if there's some price P naught, the firm will produce that quantity Q naught. And unless, of course, there's that shutdown condition, if P naught is below average variable cost, then the firm would rather shut down than producing anything. But anyway, assuming that's not the case, at price P naught, every firm would produce the quantity where price and marginal cost are just equal. And as a result, the competitive firm's supply curve is the marginal cost curve above that shutdown price, and the y-axis below that shutdown price. And if all firms in the market were the same, the market supply curve would be like so. And the units on the y-axis are the same, marginal cost and price. But the x-axis units, if for the firm it's units, for the market it's millions of units. Anyway, so this question gets at why do market supply curves slope upward? Well, let's go through our options. As market prices increase, industry output rises because individual firms have upward sloping marginal cost curves. Yep. And that's also why 3 is true, right? As market prices increase, industry output rises because individual firms have upward sloping short run supply curves. 1 and 3 are the same, actually, above the shutdown price. So, yep, those two things are true. As market prices increase, industry output rises because high cost producers enter the industry. And that in the real world is very, very true. In these cases where we assume all firms are the same, obviously that's not true. But let's take wheat. You know, David Ricardo did a lot of his work in the 1700s looking at agricultural markets, and as he talked about land rent, the key driver of rent differentials was the relative fertility of marginal lands and prime farmland. So the cost to grow a bushel of wheat, if you're sitting on really lush, rich, bottom land where the soil's really fertile, and you're in the Midwest where it rains through the summer, man, your costs of growing wheat are very, very low. However, if you're growing wheat on sort of rocky land and a dry area, you got to irrigate, sort of Eastern Oregon type wheat, that at low prices you're out of business. At high prices you can go into business, but your returns on per acre of land are nothing near what they would be if you had a more fertile acre of land, or 100 acres or 1,000 acres, whatever you got. We see this in oil. When oil prices are really high, as they were up until just a couple years ago, well, you can pump oil out of the Canadian tar sands. You can frack oil out of North Dakota. And, when oil's selling for $100 a barrel, you can suck it out of all sorts of places. But at prices of oil below $30-40 a barrel, where a lot of the U.S. sites, production sites, become uneconomic, is the term they use. It just doesn't make sense. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia, the marginal cost for a barrel of oil is in the U.S. somewhere $30 a barrel, for 25, somewhere in there. Saudi Arabia, it's $3 a barrel. So prices can drop to $4 a barrel, and it'll still make sense for Saudi Arabia to produce some oil. So the higher cost firms enter the market as prices go up. That's part of the reason market supply curves are upward sloping. So 2 is also true. 1, 2, and 3 are true. C is the right answer here.